All right, welcome. If you've ever stared at some plain HTML and wondered, how do I make this actually look good? Then you have come to the exact right place. Today, we're going to build that bridge between your content and its visual style using the 5 fundamental types of CSS selectors.
So here's our game plan. We'll kick things off with the real basics, get our file all set up, and then we're going to work our way up, building your skills as we check out each of these 5 essential selector types one by one.
So, let's dive right in. First things first, what in the world is a CSS selector? It sounds super technical, right? But honestly, the idea behind it is incredibly simple. Let's break it down. Your HTML, that's your structure. It's your headings, your paragraphs, all that good stuff. Your CSS is your style, the colors, the fonts, the layout. So selectors, they're the matchmakers. They're the crucial link that tells the browser which HTML element gets which style. Okay, before we can start selecting anything, we actually need a place to write our style rules. You know, there are actually a few different ways you can do this, but for this explainer, we're going to keep it super simple and use what's called internal CSS. It's a really straightforward 4-step deal that you do right inside your HTML file. All you do is find that head section, pop in these style tags, and you can start writing your CSS immediately. It's perfect when you're just getting started or working on a simple one-page project.
All right, let's get to our very first and most fundamental tool, the element selector. This is the most direct way you can style your page because it targets elements based on their actual HTML tag name.
What's so great about the element selector is just how simple it is. You want every single H1 on your page to be red? Boom, you just write H1. Want to target every single paragraph? You just write P. You use the tag name, add your curly braces, and define the styles inside. It's super direct, perfect for applying these big, sweeping changes across your site.
Okay, so element selectors are awesome for styling all the H1s or all the paragraphs. But what if you don't want to style all of them? What if you just want to target one specific heading, or maybe a custom group of different elements? Well, that's exactly where ID and class selectors come into play. Let's talk IDs first. The number one rule, the thing you have to remember, is that an ID is completely unique. Think of it just like a fingerprint. There's only one like it. On any given web page, you should only ever use a specific ID once. This is super important.
So how does it work? It's a 2-part system. In your HTML, you give an element an ID attribute, like ID equals main here. Then, over in your CSS, you call it out using a hash symbol. And that rule, hash main, it's laser focused. It will only ever hit that one H1 element and nothing else on the page. Okay, so if an ID is a unique fingerprint, what's a class? Well, think of a class like a reusable sticker or a label you can slap onto anything you want. You can use the same class on as many different elements as you'd like. The syntax is a little different here. For classes, you use a period, a dot, followed by the class name. And look at this. This is the magic of classes. That one single rule, .a, is styling 3 totally different elements all at the same time. How cool is that? It's insanely efficient. And this is where things get really powerful. You can actually start combining these selectors. So look, on the left, .a is pretty general. It'll grab any element with that class. But check out the right side, p.a. That's way more specific. You're literally telling the browser, hey, I only want the paragraphs that also have the class A, nothing else. This kind of chaining gives you some serious control. All right, we're on the home stretch. Let's talk about our last 2 fundamental selectors. And both of these are all about being efficient and styling lots of things at once, but they do it in really different ways. First up, meet the universal selector. It's just an asterisk, a little star symbol. But don't let its size fool you. This is the most powerful, all-encompassing selector in your toolkit. It literally just means everything. So when you use that asterisk, you're not being picky at all. You're basically shouting at the browser, style every single thing on this page. Now, why would you do this? It's actually super useful for setting up some base styles for your whole project, like setting a default font for everything. Okay, so the universal selector is a bit of a blunt instrument, right? It hits everything. So what if you want to style a few different things, but not everything? Well, that's exactly where the grouping selector comes in. It's all about writing cleaner, less repetitive code. Look, you could write a rule for H1, then another identical rule for H2, and a third one for P. Or you could be way more efficient. Just list them all out, separated by commas, and give them one shared style block. This way, you apply the exact same style to all 3 of them in one go, while leaving everything else completely alone. And that's it. The element selector for big changes, IDs for those one-of-a-kind elements, classes for reusable styles, the universal selector for your global rules, and grouping to keep your code clean. That's your foundational toolkit, so the only thing left to do is to get your hands dirty. Go open up a file and start playing around. Which one are you going to use to transform your page first?